fire for Islam.
Allah does not accept belief if it is not expressed in deeds. And He does not accept your deeds unless they conform to your beliefs.
Islam is a complete way of life which affects everything you do. To be judged as a good person does not just rest on praying to Allah, but on how you behave to all those around you.
This is my way which leads straight. Follow it, and do not follow other paths which will take you away from the path.
Muslims must follow the Sharia, the straight path, which Allah teaches in the Quran, and of which the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, is the best example.
So what is this path?
As a Muslim, the path that I'm heading for is paradise. To achieve this aim, which should be the greatest aim for all Muslims, I must please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by following His way, by following the way in which He has ordered us to act.
Any act that you make, any act that you perform is witnessed by Allah. So even if you think, like, let's say you're going to steal something, and let's say you can steal it behind your mother's back, you can't steal it behind Allah, because Allah knows everything. And this is all recorded, so that on the Day of Judgment, this will all be shown to you. Why did you do this? Your good deeds and your bad deeds will be weighed, and if your good deeds outweigh your bad, you'll go to heaven. Vice versa, you'll go to hell.
So it is very important to Muslims exactly how they live their life, since this life is a preparation for the life to come. To try to reach paradise, they need to be a good Muslim, which means following the way and teachings of Islam and being the best person they can to all around them, Muslim and non-Muslim alike.
So how should they behave?
The perfect example on how to live was set by the Prophet Muhammad.
There's many stories where the Prophet gives to the poor rather than himself, where he'd go hungry, and if he had a visitor or a friend come around, or a complete stranger come to his house, he'd still give them food while his family went hungry.
Many of the things Muhammad said and did during his lifetime were remembered and eventually written down. These are the Hadith. They cover guidance on everything from justice to helping the poor, trading to unity, patience to forgiveness.
I was in school once and I was having an argument with this girl, and she lifted her hand and hit me around the face, and I was really tempted to hit her back, but I thought of the consequences and I knew that if I retaliated it'd just end up in chaos. So I kept myself back and I just remembered the Hadith, and I knew that in the end I'd be the one that was rewarded for it.
If everybody was a good Muslim, then you remove those credit checks, you remove the need for references, because you just look at a person, he'd tell you he was a Muslim, and you would have faith in him, because a Muslim would not cheat another person, whether he be a Muslim or a non-Muslim.
When my friends gossip about other people, I really try not to join in, because I know how horrible and mean it is.
Ramadan, the month of fasting.
O you who believe, fasting is ordered for you as it was ordered for those before you, that you may learn self-restraint.
Sawm is the third of the 5 pillars of Islam, the requirement to fast during the month of Ramadan. Ramadan is the 9th month of the Muslim calendar, and special because it was the month in which the Prophet first began to receive revelations of the Quran from Allah. During this month, Muslims give up food, liquid, and smoking. Nothing must pass their lips during the hours of daylight for every one of the 29 or 30 days of Ramadan, from before dawn to sunset.
What's the point of it?
What you try to do, you actually try to live as a perfect Muslim for a month. I know you're supposed to do that all year round, all your life, but it's not as easy as that. So you try to dedicate this one month. Just try to be 100% Muslim?
I think it's to give you time to reflect about what your faith means to you, what your family means to you, to give you a sense of peace about yourself.
You're never going to fast if you've got no control over yourself. So it's a mean of actually strengthening yourself. The main reason of fasting is to show yourself what other people are going out with food in all Ethiopia and Somalia, to see all these people suffering. It's a test. You see them suffering, you want to know for yourself, what are they going through?
We all take care of one another. We all send food to each other. We share in one another's experiences. We're all hungry, we're all thirsty, and we all just sit, make jokes and laugh.
So when is the hardest part?
And getting home, getting ready for the Maghrib prayer, that's probably the hardest time, because that's the time when everything's being prepared. My mum's frying the samosas, my mum's frying some Arabic food, and the smell is phenomenal because my mum's a great cook. We're all looking out of the window and checking the time, and finally when the time arrives, usually my dad will hand us dates, and we'll take maybe 2 or 3 dates, and then we all pray together. My father leads, we're all behind him, we finish prayer, and then we have a meal together. This is what makes us feel close as a family. And we're all feeling the same things. We're all feeling hungry, we're all feeling thirsty, we're all feeling tired. But we don't normally get very irritable at all. We always try to promote the best in each other. And we always try and think, well, I know it's hard for me, so I'm going to try and make it easy for someone else, so that I forget how hard it is for myself. And so we'll sit and we'll tell jokes and we'll sing and we'll laugh.
Ramadan is a very special month which the Muslim community throughout the world enjoys. There are many special moments, including the night of Laylatul Qadr, when Muslims celebrate the first occasion when Muhammad began to receive the Quran. On this night, many will spend the whole night at the mosque, reading the Quran and offering their prayers. The end of Ramadan occurs on the sight of the new moon and marks the beginning of Shawwal. On the 1st of Shawwal is Eid al-Fitr, the celebration of breaking the fast. This is a time when friends and family visit one another and celebrate together.
Connect families.
Muslims regard the family as the center of a person's life, created by Allah to give security. Both the young and old within the family have a duty towards each other. A household in which there is love is considered to be valuable beyond price, and it is here that Muslims first learn the sort of behavior that will keep them on the straight path. At the center of family life is the mother, who is considered to be the most precious treasure in the world.
My father calls her the foundations of the house, and we make the walls and the roof. And he says without her, we'd have nothing. And he says ultimately our mother's going to teach us more than our father ever will. She taught us how to pray as children. She taught us, she was the one who introduced us to Ramadan. There's always going to be a stronger bond with a mother than anyone else. And for me, my mother, she makes up our whole family.
From within families, Muslim children are always taught to look beyond, to see how they can help their neighbours and the rest of the community, whether Muslim or not.
Your Lord has ordered that you be kind to your parents. Whether one or both of them reaches old age, do not say to them a word of contempt, but address them with honor. And out of kindness, lower to them the wing of humility and say, My Lord, give them your mercy as they cherished me in childhood.
Respecting and caring for the elderly is very important to Muslims. Here in Glasgow, there is a centre where all the elderly are welcome, whether they're Sikh, like Mr. Kaseran, or a Muslim.
Well, I feel that to be a Muslim, you should be selfless. And to be selfless, you have to care about everyone in the society, everyone in the community. And that's exactly what my work involves. This centre is called the Multicultural Elderly Care Centre. And what the purpose was is to have a one-door approach where an elderly person, especially someone who's been deprived all their lives, who doesn't have the language, has a lot of barriers, who's totally unaware of what the services are and also what they can actually do. Because in their past, in their home countries, you know, there was just so many people around them. There was peer group, there were friends, there were family, they were always busy. There's not free mixing in Islam. So what we have is we have different rooms for the men and we have different rooms for the women. We have just now for the men 2 rooms, a quieter room and a room that's obviously got more activity going on and more noise. The carom board is one of the subcontinental games, and it's played very much like snooker, where you have, you know, one pellet that you use with your hands to try and get all the other pellets in. And obviously you're playing in a group, and the person that gets the most points will obviously be the winner.
What about the women?
The women are much more active in the centre. The men have a routine that they like to follow, and they're not that interested in new developments. But the women are much more active and interested in trying out new things. What are you making?
Sweater.
For boy or girl?
Boys.
They want to fundraise, and they're knitting things, and they're making stools, and they're doing all kinds of things, from which they will sell and get some revenue, and they will use that, you know, for trips and things. Most of the women have actually never seen a lot of Glasgow because all their life they've been busy, you know, with the home and the family, and the husbands have been working or busy as well. So they have never really had time for leisure. They've never had time to see anything or go anywhere. I've tried to make it as truly multicultural as possible. So we're trying to encourage that and link with all the different communities, because that's the kind of society we want, where people are tolerant, people feel that on basics they have a lot in common.
I'll never be a champion anyway.
You know, we're all human beings, we're all part of a wider family, and that's really what we're trying to achieve.
Modesty.
For Muslim men and women, for believing men and women, who are devout, sincere, patient, humble, charitable, and pure, who fast and are mindful of Allah. On these, both men and women, Allah will give forgiveness and a rich reward.
Modesty is very, very important because one of the basic concepts, it's the way we behave with other people, so that we shouldn't be proud and arrogant. We should think of every individual as a creation of God. People are born into families where they're rich, they're born into families where they may be famous, they're born into families where they may have a special talent, but it doesn't make them superior to anyone else.
Islam asks all believers, male and female, to be chaste in conduct, modest in dress and manners, and pure in intention. This is another part of what is required to keep a Muslim on the straight path.
Does all this mean Muslims are perfect people?
No, not at all. but they should be trying to be. In India, people travel for miles to receive lentils from this giant cooking pot. It was given by Emperor Akbar over 300 years ago for feeding the poor and is still used for the same purpose today. To Muslims all over the world, it is important to help the community to create peace and harmony. Sadaqah covers all kinds of good deeds, from kindness to animals to planting a tree. It means putting other people first, no matter how much it takes. It involves making sure that no one has too much until everyone has enough. It is a matter of all pulling together and not against one another. Not only good deeds, but money is given to the community. Zakah is another of the 5 pillars of Islam and involves each adult Muslim making a payment of around 2.5% of their wealth each year. To give zakah is a duty for all Muslims who can afford it. Since everything one possesses belongs to Allah, the needy have a share in one's possessions and income and have a right to claim a portion of it. Giving openly is only encouraged when it is necessary to influence others to give. Zakah is usually paid privately, and all acts of charity and generosity should be done with no thought given to receiving praise.
The work of Islamic Relief varies from sponsoring orphans worldwide. It doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter what is your language, doesn't matter what is your religion, it doesn't matter what is your color. As long as you are in need of help, Islamic Relief will be there to help you.
Apart from giving zakah, many Muslims contribute to Islamic charity organizations which raise further funds to help relieve suffering all over the world.
We raise money and we make projects worldwide, digging wells, providing water to those who are in need of water. We provide food, we send medicine to those who are short of medicine. We send baby milk to the babies who are made refugees and to the babies who are victims as a result of war. So Islamic Relief Worldwide has been doing this work for the last 11 years, and by the grace of God we have been very successful.
The way I live my life is going to affect other people. So we're all affecting each other. Each person's life affects loads of other people. So if we're good to each other, then we should progress and live peacefully, hopefully. And that's how Muslims should be.